Get ready for an explosive second season as My Hero Academia's heroic students are pushed beyond their limits. After narrowly surviving the villainous attack, Class 1A must now prove their worth at the prestigious UA Sports Festival, battling it out with powerful quirks on display. As Izuku Midoriya and his friends engage in intense training and internships to hone their heroic abilities, the line between heroes and villains blurs in this action-packed season. And check out the Season 1 recap, linked in the description below. Still recovering from the previous incident, the students prepares for their upcoming school festival event. At lunchtime, the students of Class 1A decide to forget about the attack and pump themselves up for the sports festival. The most excited out of all of them appears to be Ochako, who puts on her game face and yells to everyone that she plans to do her best. Afterwards, she walks with Izuku and Tenya, who are wondering why Ochako wants to become a hero, and Izuku admits that she has a more practical reason about it. The school is about to hold the sports festival, which will serve as an opportunity for the students to show off their quirks to professional heroes looking for sidekicks. In the occasion, All Might confesses to Izuku that his powers are diminishing, and that the festival is an opportunity for Izuku to show his true value to the world. Todoroki expresses to Izuku that he will defeat him and show his true power. Class 1A walks out to the freshman stage of the festival stadium, and the UA Sports Festival begins. The other freshman classes also arrive. Midnight, who is the chief referee for this event, asks the student representative Katsuki Bakugo to lead the pledge. Katsuki takes the stage and announces to everyone that he will win the festival. Afterwards, Midnight announces the preliminaries of the festival will be an obstacle course race around the stadium. The students from the 4 branches of the school, Hero, General Studies, Business and Support courses, participate in an obstacle course race. The participants struggle to exit through the stadium door. Shoto realizes an obstacle and makes his move by freezing the pathway and racing ahead of all the others. Even though many students are frozen in place, Katsuki, Momo, Yuga, and Eijiro avoid the ice and remain close behind Shoto. Other villain bots confront Izuku, and instead of quaking in fear like at the entrance exam, he decides to commit himself devising a strategy. During the obstacle race, Todoroki effortlessly passes each obstacle with Bakugo in hot pursuit. At the last obstacle, Izuku uses his wits to pass through both and win the race. Although Izuku does not show off his quirk in the first event, All Might comments on how he had nothing to worry about because Izuku shows that he is a fighter whose selflessness doesn't hold him back. Afterwards, Midnight announces the second event in Sports Festival, the Cavalry Battle. Midnight explains that the event consists of forming teams from 2 to 4 people in order to earn points by stealing headbands from other teams. A team's point value is based on the value of its individual members. The members of the team receive point value based on their placement in the obstacle race. Izuku, who comes in first place, worth of 10 million points. However, his victory is short-lived when he realizes that by being first place and the other students desperately figure out to take him down, he is becoming the massive target for the next round. In the preparation of the next round, the Cavalry Battle, Izuku notices that all the participants are joining fellow peers from their homeroom class, but also they're avoiding him because he's worth so many points. He begins to panic, until Ochako decides to join him and says it's good for friends to team up. They try to recruit Tenya for their team as well, but he refuses and joins Shoto's team instead. As the time runs out for participants to forming teams, Izuku teaming up with Ochako, Tokoyami, and support course student Mei Hatsume. Being the team with most points, they barely evade the advances from the other teams from their class, while the students from Class 1B take advantage of it to claim points for themselves, especially Team Monoma, whom are managed to steal Katsuki's headband. Izuku takes notice of Class 1B's long-term strategy and believes that none of them will come after his team. He prepares to instruct his team to relax, but Team Todoroki confronts them. Shoto declares that he will take the 10 million point headband. As the end of the cavalry battle approaches, Izuku's team has a heated confrontation with the team led by Todoroki. He was able to steal Izuku's 10 million points headband, and as a result, meaning he cannot move, but he takes a moment to remind Izuku he would try his best to defeat his friend. Fumikage suggests the team try for other headbands, but Izuku refuses, and Ochako encourages them to try and get their points back. Izuku tries to grab the 10 million points back from Todoroki, however he mistakenly grabs the other headband, which only worths 70 points. Without enough points to move on to the next round, Team Midoriya makes one final attempt. Katsuki also arrives on the scene, but time runs out just as everyone is about to clash. Despite losing first place to them, they advance to the next round after Tokoyami revealed that Izuku's attack, allowing the Dark Shadow to grab one of Shoto's headbands. Izuku cries tears of joy while Shoto berates himself for using his left side. The 16 remaining students advance to the final stage, with one-on-one battles to decide the winner. Before the fights begin, Todoroki has a private talk with Izuku, revealing the reasons for his hatred toward his father, the world's second-best hero, Endeavor. Meanwhile, the two top pro heroes meet on a set of stairs. All Might compliments Endeavor for his son's performance and asks for tips on how to train the heroes of the future. However, Endeavor refuses and only replies that Shoto will replace All Might as the top hero one day. The fighting tournament bracket was announced, and Izuku's first round opponent was General Department student Hitoshi Shinso. In the first round, Izuku is struck by Hitoshi Shinso's brainwashing ability, but breaks free in the last moment and obtains victory by countering with a shoulder throw and sends him out of bounds. Having been defeated, Hitoshi remembers his past. At Naboo City Junior High, many of Hitoshi's classmates comment on how his quirk is very villainous. Hitoshi gets used to being looked at as the bad guy, but has always stayed headstrong in his desire to be a hero. After Shoto's talk with his father Endeavor, Todoroki displays his overwhelming power and easily wins his match against Hantasero, becoming Izuku's opponent in the following round. Everyone watches in disbelief of Shoto's power, and Izuku notices that he looks immensely sad. The UA Sports Festival continues with the completion of the other 6 bracket matches. Shiozaki swiftly overcomes Kaminari. Mei manipulates Ida in order to show off her tech to support companies, giving him the win by stepping out. Mina beats Aoyama by exploiting his weakness. Yaoyorozu is overwhelmed by the speed of Tokoyami's Dark Shadow and is pushed out of the ring. Tetsutetsu and Kirishima have a home-style brawl ending in a tie. Meanwhile, Ochako and company discuss her upcoming match against Katsuki. Izuku offers her a strategy to beat him, but Ochako refuses and declares that she will do her best to defeat Katsuki on her own. Throughout all of this, Ochako is trying to prepare herself for the daunting task of battling Bakugo. Ochako uses many different strategies in attempt to defeat Bakugo. However, despite her plans, Ochako falls unconscious, which allows Bakugo to win the match. Izuku goes to the waiting rooms to prepare. He is surprised when he finds Uraraka there. Taken back by Ochako's lively attitude, Izuku asks if she's okay, to which she replies she's fine. Also, during this time, Tetsutetsu and Kirishima have an arm wrestling contest to determine who moves on to the next round. Kirishima wins, and the two become friends. Meanwhile, Izuku leaves Ochako after she wishes him good luck. Afterwards, Ochako talks over the phone with her father, who tries to console her, but to no avail. Izuku felt emotional himself while reflecting on Ochako's encouragement to him. Then he is approached by Endeavor, who tries to tell him about his power was similar to All Might, but Izuku walks away. Izuku prepares for his fight with Todoroki. Elsewhere, Tomura Shigaraki is advised to pay close attention to the match because the two boys may become formidable obstacles to him one day, and replies that he is not worried about them. Izuku and Todoroki begin their match. Izuku, while still trying to win, is attempting to convince Todoroki to use his left side so they can both battle at their full power. As Todoroki fights on, more of his past is revealed through flashbacks. He remembers his mother saying it was okay to use his left side because he wanted to be a hero. So Izuku fights Todoroki, who is using both sides. Cementos and Midnight attempt to stop the match before the two deal their final attacks, but to no avail. Everyone watches in pure disbelief. The smoke clears, and Izuku is thrown out of bounds, resulted to a victory for Todoroki, and moves into the next round. In the aftermath of Izuku and Shoto's showdown, Katsuki finds himself annoyed as he overhears fans discussing the battle. Shoto exits the arena and encounters his father in the corridor about the former's fire powers. Endeavor tries to offer him the chance to become his sidekick after graduation, but Shoto ignores it and reveals he hasn't rescinded his disavowal of his father. Todoroki admits to his father that he was able to use his left side fire because he forgot all about him. Izuku caused significant damage in his right hand, warranting surgery. In the last matches of the second round, Ida and Tokoyami push respective opponents Shiozaki and Ashido out of bounds, while Bakugo overpowers Kirishima. When Ida fights Todoroki, Ida is frozen and rendered unable to go on. Bakugo figures out Tokoyami's weakness to intense light as they fight and makes him yield. Meanwhile in Tokyo, Ida's brother Ingenium is seriously injured and paralyzed in pursuit of the hero killer. Stain and Iida is informed not long after by his mother. Stain is invited by Kurogiri to meet with Shigaraki about joining the League of Villains. Todoroki is still unsure if he should be using his left side. As the match starts, Todoroki attacks Bakugo with his ice power. Bakugo becomes angry as he wants Todoroki to fight him with both of his sides. After Izuku's cheer, Todoroki decides to use his left side, but when Bakugo is about to use his howitzer impact, Todoroki suddenly stops using his left side. The attack pushes Todoroki out of bounds, resulting in Bakugo being named the winner. Angered, Bakugo still goes after Todoroki, but Midnight stops him. After the match, All Might gives everyone medals, but Katsuki refuses the gold medal because he feels this has not proved that he is the best. All Might forces him to take it by putting it in his mouth, and then moves on to close out the ceremony. After everyone went home to recover, Todoroki finally decides to go see his mother, whom he had not seen for many years. Ochako finishes grocery shopping and returns home to her parents, surprising her with a celebration for her efforts. Izuku's mom tells him that she had fainted 7 times during the cavalry battle at breakfast. Still fuming over the festival, Katsuki threatens his mouth germs while brushing his teeth, making his mother scold him for yelling early in the day. The sports festival is over, and everyone's injuries are almost recovered. Mr. Aizawa announces that everyone has to decide a hero name for themselves, especially for Izuku, who reveals that his hero name was chosen the moniker of Deku, which makes Ochako inspires him, and Izuku had a change of heart, and that since many of the students have gotten multiple offers from pro heroes, everyone will be doing a 1-week internship at a hero agency. Midnight joins in to offer feedback on everyone's hero name requests. After that, everyone chooses an agency for their internship. Izuku is still not sure which agency he should join when suddenly All Might shows up. He tells Izuku that his teacher has offered an internship, and Izuku accepts it before he leaves with Ochako. Meanwhile, Ida picks an agency in the area where his brother was attacked. The next day, everyone sets off for the internships. Ida affirms their friendship with Izuku and Ochako and walks away, changing his expression from a smile to a vengeful glare. Afterwards, Izuku travels to Gran Torino's house and frightened to find him inside playing dead. The internship program starts, and Izuku is waiting to meet Gran Torino, but when he does, he is not what he expected. Izuku begins to leave until Gran Torino shows his power and tempts Izuku to fight him. Meanwhile, Tenya is looking for hero killer Stain, and the other students of Class A are also busy in their internship. Izuku trains hard with Gran Torino and finally starts to understand One for All. After Gran Torino berates him for fouling up the frozen pastries, Izuku makes the connection between the food and himself. He realizes that, like the pastries, he needs to let the energy flow equally through all parts of himself evenly. Gran Torino watches closely as Izuku spreads One for All's power throughout his body continuously, impressed with how quickly he caught on to his symbolic lesson. Then he challenges Izuku again, using his newly mastered ability, One for All, Full Cowl. As soon as their mock battle begins, Gran Torino stops the flow of One for All's power by striking Izuku from several angles. Unable to counter due to Gran Torino's speed, Izuku hides underneath a table to buy enough time to activate One for All, Full Cowl. Izuku leaps into the air and nearly hits the old man, but Gran Torino is able to counter and get behind Izuku. After 3 minutes are up, Gran Torino thinks that Izuku has improved and is a worthy one after he grazed his cheek. Now that Izuku knows how to control some of his powers, he starts to train more and more with Gran Torino to perfect that power. All Might learns more about the captured Nomu. After Stain refuses to join the League of Villains, he returns to Hosu City to hunt down more heroes. Shigaraki also goes to Hosu, releasing several Nomus into the city. Meanwhile, Gran Torino decides to take Izuku to Shibuya City, and their train is attacked by a Nomu as they pass Hosu. Hosu City is under attack by Stain, and by 3 Nomus released by the League of Villains. As Gran Torino battles the Nomu that attacked their train, Izuku searches the city for Tenya, and arrives just in time to prevent Stain from killing him. Having received a cryptic message from Izuku before he attacked Stain, Shoto arrives just as Stain has used his quirk to paralyze Izuku. He scolds Izuku for not explaining the urgency of the situation because he could have gotten there sooner. As Izuku figures out the secret of Stain's quirk, Shoto struggles to evade Stain's many blades, and Tenya struggles with his own rage and quest for vengeance. After Shoto tries to save Tenya like Izuku had done for him, Tenya reflects shamefully on himself and starts to move his hand. Tenya fights off Stain's quirk and joins the battle with Shoto and Izuku. Endeavor and Gran Torino defeat a Nomu while the 3 UA students defeat Stain, at the cost of serious injuries to Tenya and Izuku. Endeavor defeats the remaining Nomu and controls the situation. Shoto restrains the defeated hero killer using rope, and Native carries an injured Izuku out to the street. Gran Torino meets them there and berates Izuku for leaving the train against his orders. The other pros arrive to call an ambulance for the injured and the police to arrest the hero killer. As Tenya apologizes his friends for getting them mixed up in the fight, Izuku got swooped up from the sky by a Nomu, but then Stain recovers and uses his quirk to stop it. In spite of being heavily injured, Stain states that the fake pro-heroes and the pathetic criminals in society must be purged to create a more just society. Everyone, including Endeavor, stepping back even with a fear when they saw that Stain's perforated lungs caused him to lose consciousness as he was about to attack. Following Stain's arrest, the video of Stain expressing his views on the present heroes has gone viral, and more people are falling to those views. With Stain in custody, they begin to gravitate towards the League of Villains. Meanwhile, credit for the arrest has gone to Endeavor to ensure that Tenya, Izuku, and Shoto are not arrested for using their powers without permission. Ida apologizes for his rash behavior and decides to work on improving himself. Kirishima confirms that the location Izuku sent out earlier was an SOS, but he and Tetsu are caught and punished by Fourth Kind for being late to the internship. Gran Torino calls All Might and berates him because Izuku got his teaching license revoked and his pay docked. All Might apologizes and blames it on his own inadequate teaching. He replies that heroes will rise to defeat them, but Gran Torino responds that the League of Villains will rally them under Stain's ideology, since there has been a connection between them. He advises All Might to reveal to Izuku everything about himself and One for All when the opportunity arises and ends the call. Meanwhile, two men discuss about Stain's backstory and ideology in a hostess bar with a man who smokes the cigarette, stating before falling unconscious that Stain's words will inspire many criminals into uniting with the organization Stain was believed to be allied with. Anime original episode showing what some of the other characters did during their internships, particularly Tsuyu Froppy. In the fishing boat, Selkie and a couple of his crewmates are trapped inside after being fooled. Using her quirk, Sirius hears Selkie and told her that this boat was a decoy and they must pursue the real stowaways. The criminal ringleader, Innsmouth, begins to attack them. He wraps his tentacles around Sirius and threatens to crush her if Tsuyu doesn't tell her superiors to call off the search and she gives away their location. Innsmouth pins Tsuyu down and is about to finish her off, until Selkie saves her and successfully defeats the villain by using his spotted seal quirk. Tsuyu called Sirius and tells that she discovered on what is important about becoming a hero. The criminals are all arrested, and the Coast Guard thanks Tsuyu for her involvement. Izuku and Gran Torino bids farewell after a week of training. He thanks his mentor for helping him gain more control over his quirk. As Izuku walks away, Gran Torino returns to his senile state and asks Izuku his name. At first, Izuku is disconcerted by it, but he soon realizes what Gran Torino is truly asking for and replies, Deku. Everyone has returned to school and talked to each other about their experience. Mashirao admits he fears what may have happened if Stain had come to the USJ, and Denki replies that the hero killer is kind of cool because of his personality. Tenya admits Stain could be looked at as kind of cool, but goes on to criticize the villain for killing for his own ends. At Class 1, A's Hero Basic Training class, All Might announces their lesson will consist of a rescue training race through Field Gamma. After the class, All Might decides to tell Izuku the truth behind his quirk, One for All. The true mastermind of the League of Villains is revealed to be All for One, a man who can steal and grant quirks. Meanwhile, a man who is surprised about the capture of Hero Killer, Stain, exclaims that Tomura's position is to supervise and unify the new villains who came to join the League of Villains. Final exams are approaching, and the class prepares for their written and practical exams. Momo hosts a study party at her mansion, and Itsuka tells Izuku and his friends that the practical exam will be against robot enemies. After making it through 3 days of written exams, everyone is shocked to learn that the practical exam will not involve robots this year. Instead, they will be fighting in predetermined pairs against one of their teachers. To pass, they must either defeat the teacher or escape the arena before time runs out. The first team, Aijiro and Rikido, attempt to take on Cementos head-on with their endurance and strength respectively. But Izuku notices that the strategy won't earn them a victory, because unlike the students, Cementos doesn't have a time limit to his quirk. As a result, Kirishima and Sato both failed the practical exam and are ultimately defeated. The next pair to take the practical exam consists of Fumikage and Tsuyu. Immediately, their opponent, Ectoplasm, creates clones of himself that surround the students. He states that all of the UA teachers will not hold back and are doing their best to crush the students. As the practical in the final exams continues, Tsuyu and Fumikage work together to evade Ectoplasm's army of clones. Both struggles to battle against him due to his giant bite detention technique that creates a giant clone of himself which attacks and immobilizes the students. Ectoplasm was able to take down Dark Shadow, but his legs ends up cuffed in the exchange. Ectoplasm praises the duo for their cleverness, and they pass the practical exam. In the third match, Tenya and Mashirao face off against the burrowing Power Loader. They pass the exam after Ojiro repels the teacher and crosses through the escape gate, which makes Power Loader impressed and congratulates them on passing. In the fourth match, Todoroki and Momo, whose confidence was shattered after being easily defeated by Fumikage in the sports festival, attempt to evade Aizawa's quirk. Shoto claims he can escape the restraints instantly, but Aizawa hands him from a light pole and throws caltrops beneath him. As Momo makes haste for the escape gate, she nervously ponders whether she's making the right choices or not. But Shoto backs up in confidence on her and reveals why he voted her as a class president. Then they come up with the better plan in able to defeat Eraserhead, and Shoto thanks Momo for helping him pass the practical exam, much to Yaoyorozu's tears. In the next match, Ochako and Yuga try to avoid being sucked into 13's black hole. Yuga asks Ochako if she likes Izuku, prompting an unexpected resolution to their match with 13. Denki and Mina attempt to evade the buildings being toppled by Principal Nezu as he strategically cuts off their escape routes, but they failed because of Nezu's intelligence. Kyoka and Koji, who both have sound-dependent quirks, struggle to come up with a strategy against Present Meek's overpowering noise. Kyoka asks Koji if he can control bugs, to which he confirms, and she pleads for him to do so because there is no other way. They do so and overwhelm Present Meek, allowing Jiro and Koda to escape. Midnight takes out Hanta quickly, leaving Mineta alone against her somnambulist quirk. But Mineta states that he put on a scared act to draw her away from the escape gate, and reveals himself with Hanta's tape wrapped around his face to nullify Midnight's quirk. She tries to whip him into submission, but Minoru counters with his special move, Grape Rush, which uses to stick Midnight and her whip to the ground far away, allowing him to escape and pass the exam. Midnight is impressed by his ingenuity. The final match of the final exams pits Izuku and Katsuki against All Might. Izuku struggles to convince Katsuki to work with him, especially since Midoriya believes they have no choice but to escape, and Bakugo seems determined to fight All Might head-on. Due to being hasty while fighting the teacher, Bakugo chooses to lose rather than working with Izuku. All Might was about to finish him off, until Izuku punches Katsuki away and grabs him before retreating into a back alleyway. After Izuku recalls the time during the first grade when Bakugo defended himself from his friends about being an amazing hero will always win, Bakugo agrees to work with him, although he is still angered in this situation. Even with All Might's diminishing strength and weights, both students face serious injuries as they put everything they have into the fight. Inspired by Katsuki's resolve, Izuku leaps into action and hits All Might with a smash. He quickly grabs his partner and makes for the escape gate. All Might notes that Izuku could have escaped alone, but it's always been the part of his being to help those in need. They passed the exam, with the friends cheering them in the monitoring room. In Recovery Girl's office, she heals Izuku and Katsuki while berating All Might for hitting them too hard. All Might muses over the boys' performance, proud that they can both grow stronger because they smile in the face of adversity. At the League of Villains hideout, two visitors express interest in joining the League of Villains. Tamura resents the fact that Stain's ideology has inspired so many people when his own approach has not been nearly as successful. Meanwhile, at UA High's Class 1A homeroom, those who believe they failed the practical section of final exams fear that they won't be able to go to the training camp during summer vacation. But Shota enters the room and telling everyone that they're going regardless of their result in the final exams. He calls it again the rational deception, which upsets many of the students who felt that they were tricked. Izuku and his classmates go on a shopping trip to prepare for summer training camp. At the mall, Shigaraki appears and briefly holds Izuku hostage. Before leaving, he explains his ideology and motives to Izuku before Ochako shows up. The UA High's first term ended, and summer vacation is about to begin, while All for One plans to groom Tamura to replace him in the future.